Hello and welcome to BET Classroom Clash. I am Miso and we are excited to have you join us today. This is where classroom learning meets real life software development. Today's focus is on algorithms and production. We are going to unpack what algorithms or how they show up in real life software development environments, from tools to workflows to how teams build and ship software. To break this down, we are going to cross over to the field and let Nthabeleng show us how it really works in the software development space. Over to you, Nthabeleng.
Thanks, Miso. I'll be taking you through how we go from algorithms to production. At the core of what we do as software developers is the software delivery lifecycle, which includes planning, analysis, design, implementation, deployment, testing, and maintenance. Planning is where we define the scope of the project and what we aim to do. Analysis is where we clearly define what's expected of the application, and this aids in creating testing guidelines so that we're able to ensure that the application does what it's set to do. Implementation allows us to integrate our applications from the front end to the back end, internally as well as externally. And then deployment and testing allows us to take our code and make sure that it reaches our end users. And one of the other most important steps is maintenance, which allows us to monitor and set up alerting for our applications. Now, the theory that you know is that there's requirements, use cases, and problem statements. But in the real world, clients don't know what they don't know. It's up to you as a developer to encourage and show them the potential of features and what applications can achieve. So I'm sure you're wondering, how does the theory that you're learning in class fit into what you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis? Mastering things like data structures, databases, and design patterns allows you to create robust, maintainable, flexible systems. For data structures, if you focus on things like lists, queues, dictionaries, and trees, it will allow you to create scalable applications that are responsive as your data grows. Mastering databases will allow you to model real-world data and maintain data integrity and security. And last but not least, design patterns will help you facilitate and design reusable solutions that are flexible, adaptable, and easy to maintain. The key thing to remember is that bad architecture is an expensive fix later on. Now, the code of it all. I'm sure you're wondering, what takeaways can you take from this presentation? I'm going to encourage you to code for human beings, not machines. Make your code as understandable, as readable as possible, because it's very seldom that you'll write code and never revisit it. But not only for you, but for those who come after you. Version control is important. Remember, you'll be part of a team with a large code base, so it's important to write code that's rememberable not only by you, but by those who come after you. Master the fundamentals. Frameworks are going to change, but the fundamentals will always stay the same. Test early, test often, and test resiliently. And lastly, learn your IDE so that your debugging is systematic. Test, 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 and test again. Test reduces risks, but it does not eliminate them. So I will encourage you to equip yourself with testing tools that will allow you to do your unit testing, your integration testing, manual dev testing, and automated testing. And remember the Boy Scout rule, to always leave code better than how you found it. So now you've developed your code, you've done your testing, what next? Next comes the deployment step. This is where you deploy your code to your UAT, pre-prod or pre-live environments, as well as the live environments. Your UAT environment is where your QA testers are able to test, find bugs, and log the bugs for refactoring. Your pre-prod environment closely replicates your live environment, but allows business to test to make sure that what you produced matches the requirements. And lastly, the live environment is where you deploy so that your application is accessed by the end user. So now you've gone live, you've deployed. What comes next? The work of a software developer does not end there. There's post-deployment testing and validation, where you'll do a quick smoke test to make sure that the change that you were introducing works as expected. Not only that, you check to make sure that you did not affect any existing functionality. There's monitoring. This is where you introduce your error logging and your monitoring tools to make sure that you keep track of any bugs, any errors before the end user logs or finds loopholes. There's maintenance and support. Maintenance is where we check if servers are accessible, if memory is accessible, as well as if there are any network or infrastructure related issues. And last but not least, there's technical debt, where you push aside code to rework and refactor it at a later stage. Now remember, your code will change, your frameworks will change, but the solid fundamentals will always scale.
Now that was a great breakdown. Now let us change gears a bit. Here with me, I have Mr. Lance Sheldon, who's currently a Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist at WITS Software, who's going to help us walk through this journey and dive down and unpack what it really looks like to be a software developer and unpack how you can be in this environment, preparing yourself from a tertiary level. Mr. Sheldon, Lance, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Even better to see you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I am excited to have you and to have this conversation with you today. How's everything?
It's fantastic. To be here, it's even greater.
Is it?
Yeah, thank
I
you.
am excited to have this conversation with you, Lance, but let us dive straight into it.
Sure.
I think what always interests people is finding out, how is life at WITS Software? How is it like to work at WITS Software? It's a big software development specialist company. How do you deal? What is life like that side?
Well, just to maybe break it down to you, it's a really fast-paced environment. It's really people-centric, and it gives you autonomy to do your best work. Although we want people to stand up and do their thing, you still get the support from your team members, your leaders, cross-functionally. So it's a really good environment for you to explore, to experience great things, grow and develop. And then ultimately, it's a growing environment and a growth mindset environment where you can learn and continue to learn and develop as an individual.
I think this is quite evident on the social medias. We're always seeing that vibey, vibrant
Absolutely.
lifestyle, culture, young. What an exciting moment. Okay, Lance. And from a technical perspective, I think this is what everybody is always interested to know, because they think we are so professional, technical, we're building high-paced systems and all of that. But can you unpack for us, what kind of tools would you say this environment really uses? What is it that teams really look for when they're looking for new members?
Yeah, if I had to give you all the tools, it will take us the entire day.
I know.
But we really focus on the Microsoft stack, but also not limited to. So I'll just give you a couple of tools, frameworks and languages, coding languages that we use. So C#, .NET Core, a bit of Kafka in there, React Native. So there's quite a bit of things that we use, and it's again not limited to. The reason why we want to be, first to market, we want to improve, we want to, and obviously be part of this agile kind of working environment.
From the way you're speaking about this, Lance, I would think you would actually be ready to jump in and be developer yourself.
Obvious.
Like this from back to back. All right, thank you, Lance. So I think it's important also that we touch the aspect of students, because we do quite a lot that covers how students really do onboard onto our company. We've got a very large scale on or opportunities for them. But I think it's important that you tell us, how do they really get that first step onto the door into becoming a software developer at WITS Software? How do they prepare themselves from a tertiary level?
Sure. So I'll give you a slight breakdown. So ultimately, it's a good question, first of all. And that's, I think, what everyone wants to know. So we have a bursary program, and it's ultimately looking at individuals that are studying and are focused on the ICT environment. And that is generally students that are focused on software engineering, computer science, and IT. And that will ultimately be that first step to being successful in applying for this opportunity, this bursary opportunity. It's not only a financial kind of support, but there's other things as well, from a learning, a growth, again, like to my previous point, a growth mindset and a growth and learning kind of I want to say environment that you want to take on. But then also further to that, you get an opportunity to then apply for our graduate program, which is really the stepping stone into actual working environment. So applying for the graduate program, you go through the entire recruitment process, and thereafter, let's say you were to be successful, you get exposure to not only mentoring and coaching, upskilling, and then ultimately on-the-job training, which will ultimately then almost give you that extra bit of success into the future, which will then ultimately move to a junior developer, and so forth and so forth.
That was such a great breakdown, Lance, and I think it is quite important for our tertiary students as well now to understand that over and above you looking for your technical abilities, what they can do, what they've learned to school, I'm sure there's other aspects that you look for when you are interviewing or trying to get the bursary recipients, the learnership students. What could you give them as an advice, or what is it that you would say you also look for when you're interviewing students?
Sure. I think maybe I'll try to cut it in like one or two kind of points. I think it's really important to be prepared, number one. If you're looking for an opportunity, it's always important to prepare, whether it's for that opportunity, whether it's about the organization. It's really important to prepare and prepare well. Another thing is that you have to have really great energy, a positive mindset, a positive energy really sets you apart from the rest, which is really important. And then the aptitude to learn, you know, really, really important, that go-getting kind of energy. Technical ability, of course, we can train that, but it's about that energy that you exude when you come and show up.
That was really valuable, Lance. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So everybody out there, we all know that we have a clear path. So from where you are to the technical space, Lance said it all. Preparation is key. Bring the energy, and everything else you will be provided for. Now that we've seen the journeys, let us take a deep dive and see what a real life looks like for a grad student at WITS Software.
My name is Nhlangulela and I'm a 2026 BET grad in the AI developer department. How did I get here? So I studied at Varsity College Westville. I studied computer and data science, as well as a number of short courses to enhance my skills in AI and machine learning. Let's get going. Transitioning from the schoolwork and coming into the working world is quite a very different change. And having an everyday life to being part of a team and having responsibilities, you learn that your team needs you and your team recognizes you. It's not necessarily about yourself this time, but there's an entire team that's dependent on you. And teamwork always makes the dream work. So one of the most major and important skills I've learned from Varsity is being able to communicate and just engaging with people. In a department like this, where you're founded with a team and people around you to help you grow, you need to learn how to engage. So what does a typical day in a life look like? To start, I'm always gonna have my coffee, more coffee. Even more coffee. After this, we're gonna go join the team, set up my work environment, my laptop and my monitors. Okay, now we're gonna get up and running. Let's meet the team, guys. So a common misconception with my role and my departments is when people hear that you're an AI engineer or a developer, they think you do little to nothing. They think you just put in prompts and AI generates everything for you. But there's a bit of a twist to what we do. So our team as AI devs at WITS Software and Hollywood WITS, we build automation systems and automation workflows to find and catch key breaking points within each department and automate the system so that things aren't done manually. We build LLMs and algorithms. Some of them are even predictive analysis algorithms and systems that we've built. So our main job isn't necessarily to replace people in the department or for AI to replace. Our job is to make your life easier using AI. My experience so far has been quite literally amazing. And when you're in an environment this big, the opportunities is limitless. One of the mottos again is, we dare to be ourselves, and I would like to increase my knowledge, increase my studies. Not only do we have in-house courses, but when you're in a company like this, they provide education for you. So my advice to anyone out there who wants to become a developer or be part of an organization this big, this amazing and great is to stay the course, you know, work on yourself, build yourself, finish your degree, of course, and work on your automation skills as well. It's quite literally the key, is empowering yourselves and engaging with people. I'm Andile, and that's a day in my life.
Now that was exciting. Imagine jumping from student mode into a full-on working environment. That was insightful. And now, a quick update for you. You are invited to take part into our tech challenge. Well, that brings us to the end of our WITS Classroom Crash. It's been exciting and we've had fun having you here. Don't forget to download your playbook, take part in the challenge, and also explore other opportunities at WITS Software. We will see you in the next episode.